All right. I didn't realize I could hook up my. Oh, that's why I don't do it. Oh, wow, I get that weird. Why do I get that weird bar? It's because the LEDs. All right. Okay. Bear with me. Yeah, I get that slow rolling bar. Okay, I want the white light. That light matters much. Like we're gonna be rolling, aren't we? Oh, much better. Okay, so we got to bounce the light. All right. Welcome to Live Notes while we're doing this. All right, cool. Stop hitting the fucking camera. Right. That's interesting. Okay. If I turn it this way, there we go. To go that way. Okay. Cool. Excuse me. There's dogs barking outside and a helicopter going over. I'm going to check it out real quick. All right. Okay, I don't have capabilities of doing that without this. All right, so there we go. All right, so number 2 on the agenda is this dude right here. And then this is number 2. Number 1 on the agenda is The Giver by Andrew Bell. This guy right here. Thank you to everybody that voted on my Instagram and Facebook to decide that this dude would be the number 1 piece to paint tonight. While trying to determine that who's being painted today, dawned on me that I am like, there'll be dry time on this dude, so other things will be getting paint while that dude dries. So I'm running slightly late, so I'm just trying to get a couple things organized before kicking off. Yeah, so this guy. All right, so what I need to do is let the rest of the internet know I'm already live. First 5 minutes are boring, sorry. Fortunately, nobody's tuned in yet. All right. I think so. Okay, first. Okay, cool. Huh. Thank you. Okay, now me channel. I'm doing right now. Let's share this. Share. Copy link. Let's see what old Kelly's got to say about this. Oh no, why did you unplug? Okay. Oh, that thumbnail looks amazing. Oh, oops. Whoa. Cardinal sin is to not adjust the camera once we've started. I don't want. There we go. Like Strohmeyer, stop moving the camera. Close enough. All right. So, I've said so a lot tonight. Better than ums, I suppose. All right, so I got dirty paint water. I need to get that cleaned up. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, we're not going to use Bell's line. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first things first. Standard operating procedure for working with a vinyl tool or almost any three-dimensional piece that I paint. Gloving up. I don't want to put greasy hands on this. Vinyl has a hard time accepting paints into its life, and greasy fingers do not help. Oh, I should put my headphones on. So let's get that done too. Ah. Oh. I won't be able to use my headphones. Shit, because they one of these things is not like the other. I wonder if my computer does actually have the jack for this. That would be awesome. Ooh. Now, do you plug into the right ear? That would be the next question. All right, so the big question is, can you hear me? Huh. And am I going to take my computer down with me when I inevitably move. Oh, I chose it. Oh my god. New glove time. Oh. Okay, I've been looking forward to doing this since I posted doing this a few days ago. So let's get started proper. I have my wet pellet over here. My wet pellet. It's been prepared since yesterday, or at least it started being hydrated yesterday. I think I have. Yep, I have a few colors already put on here. We got some neon yellow, neon green, fluorescent yellow, fluorescent green, and some white. The fluorescent yellow is an acrylic gouache. The white is Liquitex, or not Liquitex, golden acrylic. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try tonight. This is not my first time using sponges. Yeah, so this is not my first time ever using makeup sponges. In college, my first introduction to using these was we were using the these. We were using the wedge-shaped ones, and then we would tie or wrap rubber bands around most of it to make the widest or the big square mushroom out, so we could have a very nice round surface. So these are like something old made new again. Beforehand, I did wash these just like almost any tool that I use before painting or any of my toys. I gave it a wash, just several big squeezes under feels nice, doesn't it? All right, under in a bucket of water. Tonight I have off camera. I have a container of water that when I'm done with my sponges, I can just put them in there, maybe give them a squeeze or two, and just keep them moist until I can wash them at the end of the night. So this one is an inappropriate plug shape. The other ones we have are your standard teardrop shape. I don't know the names of the shapes that makeup specialists use. Then we have a teardrop shape with a bevel cut on it. That is not a very clean flat shape. I assume that nicer quality ones have nicer, smoother cuts. It does not matter I don't think it's going to matter for me, not tonight. So these ones are huge. These are the size of actual eggs. And then I have the smaller versions. And when watching tutorials online, it depends on how big their toy thing is. So this one has the flat edge too. This teardrop has a flat edge. And then here's the not safe for work plug shape one. So two different sizes. I have a feeling that I'm going to start out with this guy with the teardrop shaped one. Actually, no, I'm going to try this guy right here. Yeah, it feels as cheap as it was, but it has a handle on it. It's got the same type of sponge here, and yeah, but it's got a handle. So we're gonna dab along and have a good time. The outlier for tonight were these things that I assume if I really wanted to, I could put my finger around here and then just go dab with these. I don't know. But I did wash these too, and we're going to give them a try later sometime tonight. All right, when I'm not painting this dude tonight, we're going to go all the way over. When I'm not painting this guy, I'm going to give this other dude some attention, probably with the same color scheme. I also have this Dunny that I would like to finish soon-ish, and we're past the 75% mark on this, so we're going to give it some attention tonight. And I might try and just finish this guy up. I very much have this dude set up to be the Scooby-Doo ghost, deep sea diver bad guy. This was by, Who the hell? Grant Peterson? Grant Peters. Yeah. So pretty much like tonight, I am doing some old school vinyl toys. I got Andrew Bell. I have this guy. This is a combination of 3 toys. This is Banksy. This is a Kid Robot part. And for the life of me, I can't remember this devil egg, but little extra curricular cutting made this head fit in much better than the baboon head that or monkey head that came on this. So bonus, right? All right. So those are the toys that will be worked on tonight. In the event I have to go grab something else, I do have stuff to go grab. In fact, I'm probably going to grab a couple test pieces real quick. All right, and bonus test pieces tonight. I have this pup. That is a 3-inch version of it, the platform. It's just pink right now, so there's a lot of opportunity to just test and mess around with. And then I have this original one. It's the 5.5-inch version. The tail had broken off, so I ended up putting a very large tentacle tail. Tentacles also seem to be on the agenda for the past couple days as well. No kidding. So there we are. All right, I got 2 folks in. Hello, folks who have joined. I can't see who's joined. All right. Yeah. So here we go. All right. So the joy of using sponges is that it's kind of a cheat for using an airbrush. Instead of using an airbrush, you have something else that is going to create smooth blends for you. I normally when I use these for paintings, which has been a very long time, make sure to use some matte medium too. And just like my regular painting, we glaze it up. So tonight I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to beef it up with some white. And then wherever it's purple, we're going to give it some blue and then build it up to green. And I want this guy right here, to have a very bright green body. We're going to do some fun freehand on it. And I'm not sure what color I want to do the head. It's probably going to be a bony white color. I'm just going to go with the sculpt sort of on this. To make this a little easier, I'm going to remove the head in just a second. It pops off. It's engineered well. I think once upon a long time ago, I did trim this socket to make it easy to remove. Oh, and also it does have some little tiny wings, so they get to come along for the ride. Yeah. All right. So let's get this going. Okay, so yeah. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make, God damn it. I'm going to make a mix of a dark blue. I'm going to make a mix of 3 colors. And they're going to be a dark blue paint. They're going to be a blue-green, and I'm going to add some transparency to it. So, like I said, I want some transparency to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sponge pretty much everything that's purple right now. I'm going backwards on what I just said on my plan. I think that'll be cool. And what I don't get to actually reach into, that's just going to be dark shadow for a while. This is going to be painted with volumetric highlights. So that's cool. And I'm going to pinch right now. From where I'm sitting, I cannot see my one of my palettes. So the lid to my palette gets to be my dabbing palette. I normally would use this guy, but not tonight. All right, so I'm going to mix matte medium in with this. This looks like a lot of paint, and it kind of is. It's fine. I'm going to make some transparent base on it. I'm not going to test much of this. And then I'm going to add a blue-green glaze to it. All right. They're perfect. All right. So the big thing right now is I made sure I mixed acrylic paints in with this glaze because the glaze will, it's an express paint by Vallejo. I treat it like a glaze, and I add matte medium to it because stuff can what do you want to call it, reactivate, which is bad. So all the sponges have been pre-moistened. I find that dampening your sponge makes it work a lot better. Let's see. I'm stuttering because I don't want to. Not sure where I want to start on this. So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna paint bravely. All right. So I have smushed a lot of paint on there. That is too much to just start dabbing around. I'm gonna dab it off there. I'm gonna grab my big pup. I'm not a fan of that color scheme, so we're going to use this as a tester. And you can see that I can see the tiger stripe through that. So as far as I'm concerned, that is transparent enough or opaque enough. And yeah, so it's gonna make it look like a German expressionist painting real quick. So we're just gonna dab in here. Not gonna care if I get into the white spots. That's what the next color is going to be used for. I'm just going to get some quick application in here. This is also kind of fun. We're just stabbing it a bunch. If you can't hear if you can hear the sound of the makeup sponge, it's like a boot stuck in mud, only wetter. Like I said, I'm not going to worry about that spot that I can't get in. That is physics' way of saying go in with a brush and do that better later on. I'll say, okay, physics, you win. So this guy originally, this guy. All right, so I'm stuck on saying this guy because I've been watching Taskmaster as of late. I got into it. I got into watching Taskmaster a while ago, but they're having a Champion of Champions episode this upcoming week, and I want to see it. And I'm a big fan of one of the guys who won, who's going to be appearing on it. He's from Australia, Sam Campbell. And almost every story he starts out with this guy. And because I'm watching his series of Taskmaster, it's kind of stuck on me right now. So maybe this upcoming year will be the year of this guy, and I'll just start every post about toys with this guy. I don't know. That sounds kind of funny. All right. So I'm not smearing it around and stuff. Like I found that if you start like actually treating the sponge like a paintbrush, you just wear it down more. And nobody wants to break these down. They're not they're not expensive, but they're not cheap. You know what I mean? All right. Yep. Looks like a German expressionist painting that didn't get thrown onto the fire against one. Okay, so here's the cool thing. I get to decide how the wings are going to be illuminated now. And I'm just going to hit that bottom part with it. Those will get airbrushed, I think. I'm not sure what I want to do with the wings, so I'm just going to. I am going to. The plan is to paint them along tonight, and if I like how they go, or how they come out, I will keep them. If I don't, that's why I have an airbrush. I can just make them stand out pretty well. I was considering trying to make them look like a type of moth wing, even though they're feathered. Yes, I know, but we make some razzle dazzle happen. Um, and even with this, I'm pretty certain I'm going to paint this bone color. I don't think I need the blue on it, but I'm going to paint the blue on it. And then this dude, Houston, we have a problem. That's okay. I still have a lot of this blue stuff, and I'm going to give this, wear this out a little on top of my pup, and then I'll put it in, give it a little extra squeeze of water, and try and get that cleaned off. All right, so I got lots of paint on this. I'm just going to be using the paint up for the sake of painting. And getting to paint this on getting the same color of paint on this is just going to help me out later on when I want to start seeing interaction. So I always recommend having a test piece along while you paint, just so that if you want to if you're going to shift gears at all, shift gears with the test piece. That's just my own Rick's rule of thumbs. I have a whole Grey's Anatomy full of thumbs and their rules. All right, so this guy is not clean, but clean enough for tonight, or for right now. And then I'm going to grab this little dude. God dang. All right, so we're going to grab this little guy, and we're going to not put him in my paint. We're going to grab this one, the Banksy egg. And like I did earlier, this thing has been pre-moistened. Now it is good to go. We're going to come on in here. We're going to go with where his chest is. Now you can see my fine butchering skills right there. Go under the armpit. Like, oh, Rick messed up by putting paint there. Who cares? All right, so there we go. All right, I do know that from the feet to the hand, from the feet in and to the hands in, I want to have a bit of a fade of color, or a change in color. So this part is probably going to be very sparing in the greens, and either I sponge those in, or if I airbrush them, it does not matter right now. Just gonna have some interest. Hey, I got 3 folks watching. Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Perfect way to spend a Sunday, whether or not we're home for the holidays, homebound, or just chilling out before we have to go back to fucking work. No. And I'm not sure if that's how that's going to work, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, so this piece is going to have a base that I started last night. My old toy philosophy when I was customizing them and adding to uh, adding to the sculpts. And this is definitely one of those. The philosophy was always to make them taller, and this is no exception. Like I'll share the base in just a minute, and totally make it taller. Um, I think the plan for this guy, well, so this guy was conceptualized years and years ago, and then he just fell into the waste pile of or the waste pile I call limbo, and not much has happened to it since. So earlier this fall or winter, I decided that I was going to just find a lot of my unfinished toys and then start towards a push to have as many done as possible, or just get them fucking done. All right, I don't like how that came out. So simple fix. It's still wet. Look at that magic eraser. Let's see. So after I put in the tone that I wanted to, before I came up to stream, I did the tone with my airbrush. I gave it a coat. Oh fuck! Oh no! I gave it a coat of matte medium. It helps to protect it, and that worked great until I reactivated something and just scraped off everything down to the primer. So now I have a cool spot there. Oh, so anyway, here's the base. Strategically put my thumb there. Here's like this wooden disc will go off, and here's the base that this dude will stand on. It's going to make it about 50% higher, taller. That's cool, and I think that's pretty cool. All right, well, that was classy. Okay, so nice little sponge done. So I'm going to take this sponge, I'm going to put it in the water and give it a couple squeezes to just moisten it up, loosen up the paint that's in there. Just very much a cursory cleaning. I don't know if you guys can hear that. All right, and then let's see. So back to the Andrew Bell piece. I'm not going to use that dabby dabber. Yeah, well, we could go back to the dabby dabber. All right, so I want to have a transition from this color to greener blue. And like I said, I want to have this be fairly transparent. The joy is that this color does not have great coverage. So what that means is, for my benefit, being able to adding matte medium to it, I don't need to. Like I said, it doesn't have that great of coverage, so I'm going to treat it pretty transparent. I am going to mix it in with what I just made. That means two things. One, I can't ever use the glaze I just made because I'm just going over it. And two, it's going to work as a transition. So that's cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to be using this as a transition to build up and up and up. That initial color is pretty much what would be considered a mother color. So now everything in this green that I'm going to add up to is going to have this on it. And that's going to help create some cool unity. And yeah, let's go. See how that works. It could be more transparent, but we're all right. Having issues with the contortion of my piece. All right. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat, so like I said, I'm going to treat that darker color as my light source. Now I'm just going to keep this guy up, and I'm going to just like stab down And because I'm stabbing down, I don't have to worry about what I'm missing. And like I'll be covering less than what I did last time. You can see here that that beautiful blue is going to be incorporated. It's going to blend in well. This is going to feel a little choppy. That's all right. Never fear, people. So it's going to feel a little choppy. That's fine. When I'm done tonight, I will be making some transitions with my airbrush, the old crutch, and having that help out significantly. So yeah, I wasn't sure when I put speckles on this when I was airbrushing it. I wasn't sure how much of those would be coming through or not. It's fine that they get covered up, but it helps create a little bit more interest. And while I wait for this to dry, I might just add some with a different color just to help beef that up. I have toothbrushes and time, so that's cool. All right, so we'll pick a color that I'm going to just flick on, and yeah, let's grab a brown. Browns are awesome. Browns are the unsung hero of the paint world. So those new or following at home, I used to be huge. Well, oh yeah, that's cool. When getting into painting custom toys, I very much used a lot of model paints. I painted models in college for beer money, so it's okay. And I have been making the move to just go back to artist acrylics and not have to worry about like every damn proprietary name that they have for the same artist colors that I was raised on. And yeah, so like a few weeks ago, I ended up just boxing up a lot of used paints and taking them to my makerspace so that other people couldn't take advantage or just use them. And they did not stay long in the up for grabs pile, which is great. All right, back to this dude. And so, yeah, so I have reduced the amount of model paints that I use. I am using them. I'm totally using them tonight in conjunction with some artist paints. But ultimately, the plan is to just be free and clear of model paints after a while. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but because I've I've been starting painting again. I've been investing it more into Golden's paints, and I've been enjoying using them again. Oh, that's brutal. Never fear, Wings. What I like about this dude, that he just has that slumped over, defeated look. His hands are up like, what do we do now? Yeah, he's got that hands up gesture like Hakeem Jeffries when he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Hands up, Hakeem. I don't know what to do. It's like, dude, you're a fucking leader. Lead. Nope. Hands up. Oh, we don't know what to do because we don't have control. Well, that goes to show you lack imagination, and you should not be our leader. Political sermons so far are the only ones so far. It won't be the last tonight, I promise. All right. So we're going to go from there. And I'm going to use a green. I'm going to finally jump into the green. I'm going to make a huge jump. Which means I'm probably going to do this twice. All right. So I've got this little dude that I've tried out. We're going to wash it off. And we're going to try something else. Hello. Hello. I cannot see who's joined, but I can see that I have people who are watching. So thanks a bunch for joining. In the event you have a question, comment, or complaint about how things are going tonight, the comment section is open. You are free and welcome to make your opinion heard. All right. Okay, so we're going to go with a green. I had this green that I got. What the hell is it? Oh, there it is. I had frog green that I'm like, oh, it looks like 5 other manufacturers' greens. It looks like this is why I'm out of the fucking model paint game. You got your 8K frog green. It looks just like Pro Acryl's bright yellow green, which looks like P3's. Where's that? No, a little darker than Army Painter's electric line, but it's a little brighter than. Okay, darker than Electric Line, brighter than Necrotite Green. Necrotite Green by P3 is kind of one of my favorite colors for a long time. And yeah. So there's a reason getting out of the model paint business. Not that I don't like them. It's just that, I try every color, or I try every manufacturer, especially when they decide to do a relaunch. I just want to see how good is their quality, right? And sometimes I buy a bunch of their shit, and before I realize I don't like parts of it, and sometimes it's just one or two, and it's just like, cool, these 3 colors are my go-to, and I don't care for them, and I don't need to buy any more of their stuff. So, hey, while we're here experimenting, okay, I'm going to take some of that and mix it in with that so I can go darker, but you can't see what I just did. All right, so I took some of this mixed it in with that frog green or very bright yellow, whichever. And now I don't see that color. That's cool. I kind of want to try this little pad out, but I don't think that's the right time. All right, so this is a makeup sponge I've been using for a while. It has a little bit of a hard nose now, so it kind of puts nipple-shaped pieces in, or parts in. Actually, the pot mark might be cool here. And they'll be like, oh, that's huge. Well, once I get it wet, it's going to swell up significantly. Yeah, should be. Yeah, it's swelling. It's going to get that big. Anyway, I'm going to try this pink one. Like I said, dollar store, not bad. All right, so my original set of 3 of these bigger. God dang, man, this is what it looks like when they don't want to. When you've beaten them up too much, they don't want to hold their. Like I crease this, and it's like, oh, dehydrated puka. All right, so yeah, the 3-pack of this was like $5, or and my 8-pack of these guys today was $1.25. So significantly cheaper. We're gonna see how great it is. And you know, if it puts down a color, we're gonna call it a win. All right, that's cool. Look at that great color. See some of my speckles throughout. It's clearly not as bright as I want it to be, but that's all right. I can make it brighter. And I tell you what, this does kind of go fast. It is kind of fun. There's not a whole lot of thinking in this process. Just fucking lay it out, go. This is where I'm going to start fading the arms, so we're going to leave that part alone for right now. And you can see some cool transitions happening, which is nice. And you know, and as always with painting, your color looks different if you go over. You know, this green is going to look a little brighter going over this, or a little darker going over this blue green, but this blue green would look a little brighter going over that. So there will be some play back and forth to make this look as good as possible. And the other goal is to make sure that I have enough of this for this guy. Oh. I'm going to hate the idea of having to mix an extra color midpoint. I think I'm going to have to. That's all right. All right, so with the Giver, originally, it had I think this one came with a bomb that it was holding. And I do have that, but I'm gonna paint something. I'm gonna add something else to it instead. And I'm not quite sure. Originally, I was gonna do the scene of him holding mushrooms, and that's not going. I think it's just gonna be a solitary mushroom. All right, I no longer have any of that dark blue or mid-tone blue. All right, so to manage like this, I'm going to have this just, oh, shoot. I'm going to have this just go over everything. I forgot to dab it out before going onto my piece. So I have a huge buildup of paint right there. I dab it off quickly. I'm going to come over here, pick it up with the side of my sponge. In fact, I'm going to grab a different sponge like that. And I'm going to try and blend it. Yes. So I end up lifting up some of that paint, but That's all right. I'm going to have some weird tide marks where it's dried. That's okay. It's going to look a little weird. It's going to work. Oh, hey, Puka. We'll never know when it's time. Huh. All right, so the advantage of having that is it's a little brighter. I'm going to come on in and sponge that out. And to AK's credit, it's really opaque, and I wish I had thinned it down a little. I just got a little too excited. Like, put some paint down. And I have no idea. I just bought this, even though I'm getting out of the model paint game. I bought these AK ones a couple weeks ago. Necessity being the mother of all, right? And yeah, I like them. It's not enough to go buy a new paint range, especially since I'm getting rid of them, but they are pretty nice. Okay, so I have this cool green. It looks like hell right now. I'm just throwing my sponges into the off-camera bucket. All right, and now I'm going to leave some of, I'm not going to clean my sponge. I'm going to just dive right into this frog skin green. We'll see how that, this is the step I should have fucking done 10 minutes ago. All right. So the joy of the texture palette is being able to wipe that off, dab. So we're gonna do. And I missed a step by missing that Banksy piece. Meh. All right, so the name of the game is to make sure I just have a lot of cool transitions, some cool textures added on there. I don't mind adding textures, just like texture's fine as long as it's not just built up brush strokes, right? And that's transitioning super nice. All right, it's 8:30. Cool. I've been doing this for an hour. I'm not sure how long I planned on doing this tonight, so thanks everybody for coming on by. I had concepts of a plan for tonight. I kind of like doing live streams because they're at least like live accountability for your painting. Like, come on, guy, no procrastination here. And if you're watching, you didn't know, I've started putting videos back up on my channel. The latest one is pretty much, oh God, timing was perfect. It is a rereading of Kat Abu Ghazali's speech about telling our reps that impeachment is more popular than they know. Kat Abu Ghazali is running for Congress out of Illinois. She's Gen Z progressive, and I wish her all the luck in the world. My generation's fucking failed, so we turn to the next, right? And the one after that, apparently. She's Gen Z. So yeah, that frog skin is pretty slick. Oh, these are a little brown. These are a little more neutralized on camera. It's a little brown. That's all right. All right, so I'm going to put this down, let it catch its breath, and then I'm going to hit up the Banksy. I'm just going to go back and grab the other color, dab it off, and then we're going to, I'm going to use this big old sponge, test of bravery. And I've gone over where I don't want to. That's all right. What would old Bobby Ross do? Meh, ask if you make an error and just move on. Cool, you see that? That's what we want. I think for the wings, I would like to do a galaxy pattern. That should be pretty doable. I would say so. I'm going to say simple too, but it's totally doable. And with the concept I have for the rest of it, that should look pretty sweet. Concepts of planes. That's what we got right now. I do not care if I get stuff on those wings right now. Like if I make these galaxy pattern, I might as well do the little Andrew Bell one's galaxy pattern too. Oh, that does look, I like that. How do you guys feel about that green? Like I said, I know it looks a little muddy on camera, but that's got some charm to it. Oh yeah, totally blocked out those boobies. All right, so let's clean the sponge off. Yeah, and this color combination of this this dark blue gray, that emerald, and this frog skin is quickly, like, I pulled it, I did it here on these skulls, and I really like how they came out. So it is a continuation of that color scheme. I'm really digging it. Huh. That's almost Castle Grayskull colors. Like just move the slider bar around a little, and you would have the same colors to paint Castle Grayskull, or some of them anyway. Could test that theory with this dude. You guys want to see Castle Grayskull on that sometime? All right, so the one bad thing about tonight's stream is I am tethered to the computer because I am using a all right, so I'm cleaning that sponge off. I am using a cord for my headphones. Hopefully you guys, can you hear me? I guess I don't know if you can. Let's ask. That would be embarrassing if I've been talking to nothing for the last hour. How about this? We'll do this. That would be awful. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Oops. Yep. Never mind. Okay. Nothing like a little doubt to kick in, right? All right. So what I'm going to do for the giver is I'm going to take the little not safe for work shaped plug, and I'm going to use the blunt end for the second or for another volumetric highlight. And yeah, so the nice thing about this one is I am using straight out of the tube. I'm gonna add a little of that medium though. No, just straight out of the tube. So if I run out, it's easy to replenish. All right, can we see that? Oh, that's nice. All right. So there's going to be a couple ways that I'm going to brighten or I'm going to even out this. One of them is going to be through some extra texture added on. And two is it'll be a series of glazes to go over it. And also I will be airbrushing pretty certain I'm going to airbrush a neon. Of course I'm going to airbrush. I'm going to airbrush some fluorescent yellow over top of this. I don't know. There's some there's hate on the airbrush, and those people can hate all they want. It's a tool. Everybody should get one. It's a fantastic tool. It does help speed paints. It helps speed painting along. It helps get. There's a lot of cool things that an airbrush can do that a paintbrush can't do, and vice versa. One of the nicest things is that with an airbrush, that is primarily how sorry for moving out of frame. That is primarily how I like to lay out my fluorescent colors, mainly because I don't, as painterly as I like to make things and as much as I think it's cool to have painted in textures, I do not like seeing brush strokes on my fluorescent colors. So the airbrush is so nice in being able to just make sure that comes out nice and flat. I love that. And it just makes it look clean. And if you ever do batch painting on toys or models and whatnot, the airbrush cuts down, saves so much time. And it's fantastic. And it's that old phrase like, oh, why am I paying you because it only took you 10 minutes? Because it took me 10 years to learn how to do it in 10 minutes, right? And it's not like the airbrush is a magic wand that once you get it, you know how to do it. Time, again, like most any skills, it takes time and practice. Haters going to hate. That's for damn sure. But like, everybody should get one. If you can have a capability of taking care of the fumes, whether it's the primitive system I do, or just buying a fucking vent system online, I will not recommend that facility ever again. Do it. Like if you could pour, and here, and mainly for the model people, if you can port out the fumes for a resin printer, you can set up uh, an exhaust fan for an airbrush. I mean, like, yeah. Okay, that's the hill. That's the hill they'll die on. Yeah. Oh fuck. All right, cool colors, man. Cool colors. Okay, not sure what color I want to have these guys fade out into, but they're going to fade. Yeah, look how nice that came out. The other nice thing about the makeup sponges is in the event that as if you do use an airbrush and you like get an error, you have a mistake that bleeds onto your beautifully airbrushed area, the makeup sponge can help fix that, and that's pretty handy. Heck yeah, I like that. All right, so we're going to give this, nope, we're going to give this a quick dunk. And then I'm going to grab some white. And we're going to just splatter some freaking. All right, so I got this ink from AK, Soul of Colors. It's an immaculate white. I have no freaking clue what that means. Hope it's not oil-based. And since I don't know, we're going to give it a sniff. It smells water-based to me. All right, so grab your toothbrush. I'm just going to dip some right here. There we go. Look at that going into the textured part of my textured mat. I'm going to come over here. Ah, that's nice. Cool. More interest. More interest equals very good. All right, tiny little. All right, so what you notice is I'm holding the bristles upside down because the bristles do not hold liquid in them, so everything's dripping down. I'm going to do that. It is not going to dry that brilliant, which is fine. Actually, I would like to show a cool trick that I'm. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to take a quick break so I can go run downstairs and get a tool, too, maybe. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the deal. I want to put on a racing stripe, actually two, on this guy. And I do not want to use tape, which is totally a me problem. Oh, look at how that ink dried. That's pretty cool. You guys got to watch it dry while I was messing around. All right, so I'm going to move these arms out of the way because I think it's going to go all the way around. So we're just going to make it take up as much of a footprint as possible on my printing table. So I have two ideas of how I'd like to put racing stripes on. Okay, so like I said, no tape. So two ideas. One is to use this contour temp finder, and the other is to use a laser level. Be able to set it up, be like, aha, there you are, and then we'll trace it out. And I think this is going to be the way. But I really want to see if conceptually this thing would work. So we're going to try this one first. And I have to raise this up by about half an inch. So, problem solving. What's good for doing this? Cool. Look at that. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to push it straight up against, and voila, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's going to be pretty slick. On this one, I feel like I should be able to lock it in place, and I can't. That's all right. We're going to go push it all the way in. I am not going to get the whole thing. I needed this to be. This might not be the way. I'm going to try and make it the way, though. Oh, this is awkward. And I'm using a watercolor pencil. I figure that it will be easily washed off. And son of a bitch, look at that. Nice. I'm going to be propelled by my own sense of self-satisfaction right now. All right, so I want a skinnier line. Push it in. Hold it down. I'm going to fudge it just a little here because I do need to have that connect. Oh, nice. Okay, so one freehand line done. Eric, is that you watching or is that Kelly? I think before I call it a night tonight, though, this gets painted in. All right. So the secret, if I use tape, the secret to hiding that you use tape is to have varying line thicknesses. So if you just have two thick line, two the same line, it very much says you use tape. So I had that mentality walking in that I wanted to just have two varying lines. But we all see online that I didn't use freaking tape. So that's pretty cool too. Dang, that's cool. All right. So the hard part now is going to be having promontory point with these guys lined up. You saw it here first, folks. Rick trying out the contour tracing device, and it freaking worked. I've had this forever, and I hardly ever use it. And I put it down into my airbrush area a while ago, thinking that I would use it as a quick masking agent for quick airbrush stuff, like especially for a pup to be able to just go like, all right, zook, airbrush that, and then I could have half blue, half red. I haven't done that yet, but this, oh my gosh, I'm so tickled pink about this. Okay, that's going to be a little weird. Oops. Oh, it belled out a little. And the plus about using watercolor pencil for tracing this out. Goodbye, original line. Nice knowing you. Okay. So let's see, one trace line, one pinstripe, racing stripe, whatever. Get this guy up and going. And oh, so that's they're going to be painted white and they're going to be distressed. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but dang, it worked. So that's cool. All right, so one down, two to go. Oh, we can do it this way. Excellent. All right. Oops. Yeah. Digging my new toy, that's for sure. Okay. Again. Okay, this is where the laser would be handy. Okay. Right. All right. So, this is blind leading the blind, but that's all right. Mark it here. There. Cool. Good enough. Close enough. All right. And then the next one is here. And then somebody's going to see this 5 years from now and be like, you should have done it this way. I'm like, okay. Not a successful client, though. Cool. Look at that. All right. Now, anybody remember how to paint white easily? Okay, best way to paint white is to not paint it white first. Since I am weathering this bonus, we're going to break out the wet palette now. Okay. Always got to give the wet palette a sniff test. Make sure that it doesn't have any shit growing in it. All right, so the easiest way to paint white is to not have white on the as the initial thing, as the initial color. So we can go with either a light skin tone, light brown, a light gray, a light any color really, and just build it up from there. And since I do have a yellow green here, I'm going to continue with a warm color. I think no. I'm going to go with a cool color. So I'm going to choose. Well, I have two colors that are very similar. I have this warm gray or heavy warm gray, or this bone color. The bone color is a artist's signature from Procryl. I am not a fan. So Procryl makes pretty decent paint. I like them a lot for the most part. I really like that they do this artist series a bit where you have various miniature painters that have like they've worked with to create 6 colors for themselves, and those are really nice. And some of those creators have put a lot of thought into them and make some nice colors. However, I really hate these lids from Procryl. They do sell other lids that work better, but that's like they sell the fix, and to me that's good design hiding behind a paywall. And I hate them. I hate them because they all do this shit. Like that's wasted paint every fucking time. So Procryl is being phased out, but I have bought them a lot. I have bought a lot of their paints because I do like a lot of them. But damn, I wish they'd fix that. All right, so I'm going with a cool gray. We've got a little purple in it, and because it's a cool gray, well, there's 2 benefits to it. One, that watercolor pencil was blue-green, so that's a cool color. And because there's purple in it, it'll help neutralize it a little more. So I'm just going to paint my 2 stripes in by hand. they don't have to be super even. This thing it is going to have a weathered look to it. But just being able to paint in lines is going to be cool. It does not have to have amazing coverage, even though the paint I did choose has amazing coverage. So we're just taking our time, holding our breath, taking our time. Paint is thinned down a little. The other thing is, like, I don't know if Vallejo still makes these extra opaque ones, but man, I do like them. They are kind of like your one coat, and that's it. You don't need more than one coat from them. And it's not to say it has perfect coverage, but the way I'm going to paint this, it doesn't have to have perfect coverage. So I am kind of holding my breath and talking at the same time. But I'm very much pulling this towards me. And that is the simplest way to pull a clean line. Do heart pull towards your heart, preferably with your dominant eye or on your dominant eye side. Oh, I taper a little. That's all right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get like one side only, and then once this gets one side of each line, and then once it dries, I'll turn it around and I'll do the heart pull from this side. And I broke into doing my lines now, even though this is still not complete, because I do plan on weathering it. I just want to get the base color in. So while it gets weathered and beaten down, I know where it is. And with adding extra paints, it's going to help sell the weathered look. So it doesn't have to be super clean, but I am trying to get it to look super clean. And yeah, I'm kind of painting this to make it look like he's in a giant onesie or spacesuit or whatever, but I have a plan, and it's better than a concept. There. And because I have that gray on my palette, I'm probably going to go over and I'm going to fade out where I want this green to be, start fading out this green after getting the lines filled out. So there's never just step one, paint this, step two, paint that. I layered things so much that I like to use up all the paints that are on my palette, but I just layer it so I can have as much visual interest amongst my colors as possible. Oops. And I have my new setup tonight. I'm not paying attention to where the camera is. Sorry. All right. Heart pull there. Cool. Other side. By the time I'm done with this line, the giver will be ready for its next coat. Too much pressure. That's all right. Oh, that's starting to look like hell. Okay. We'll fix it. But yeah, you see that racing stripe come in? Look pretty okay. All right, so tonight I've been able to look at those dollar store sponges. They're doing all right. I want to get that finger tap pad one tried. And then, even if it's not being painted on the Giver or this guy, I want to see what it's painting, how it feels, or what it does. But I got to try that contour tool out finally, and that worked out way better than I thought. So this night, even though I don't finish anything, oh man, was I over ambitious about that. Even though I don't finish anything tonight, this is a huge ass victory. And thanks for coming along. And if you're a time traveler from the future, thanks for watching. I have to get a stencil for that or freehand it. Okay, so that's the weird part, that like on the side, this line is going to look weird on from the top. It's not. I'm not sure what I could have done to fix that. I'm sure somebody will tell me one day. They'll be like, Rick, you should have done this. Like, cool, thanks a bunch. Maybe they wouldn't have said it that nice. They would have been like the Minnesota passive aggressive, like, hey, what do you think of that? You should have done this to make sure your line wasn't wobbly. Oh. But how else do you like it? Oh, cool. I pulled a bonehead maneuver right there. We're going to fix that. All done. Cool. All right. So the big question is, where the fuck did I put my finger? Yeah, always getting that kind of criticism is like, well, how was the play, Miss Lincoln? You're telling me how I could have fixed this bad part. Well, how do you like the rest of it? And that's where I put my finger in it. Okay, let's clean that part up. That part up. That part. Cool, cool. All right, the Giver is done for the night. Cool. Let's get the Banksy done, and then we're going to call it a night. And we'll thank everybody for past, present, and future for tuning in. Ooh, dare this be connected on the other side? That'd be nice. Okay, 2 stripes there. Look at that. I totally got that, my finger in there too. Yep. How was the play? Well, let's see. New tool for a new technique tonight. Check. Oops. Uh, Base coating something with new sponges. Check. Finishing anything. Not a damn thing. Um, so I have nothing to show as completed for tonight. That's all right. But I have put knowledge in my hands and yours, and that's cool. So at this point in time, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in, past, present, and future. Um, I'm going to consider this a great success. I don't know if I'm going to do this again before the holiday. Quick reminder, though, I will be streaming on January 5th. It will be my um, goodbye salute to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm gonna paint, and we're gonna review some of the greatest things she's ever fucking said. I would say the stupidest thing she's ever said, and they are quite stupid. In that defense, she's not fucking stupid. She thinks her voters are, and so she says the stupidest things to get her voters' attention, and to get attention for herself. But that carrion bird is smart. Anyway, yeah. So thank you very much. I'll see y'all later. How do I stop this thing? There's the button. End stream. End.